Hello everyone, this is a review of Tomb Raider 2013. I'll try to avoid specifics as much as possible, but there will be some spoilers in this review. So keep an eye out for the words "spoilers ahead" coming up on the screen so you can skip past if you need to. With all of my video game reviews, I try to review the game based on a few categories: gameplay mechanics, graphics, audio, story, and characters. This is, of course, just my opinion, and anyone is free to disagree. So, let's get started. This game is actually what reignited my love of video games. I've been playing them a lot ever since I was little, and I'd always really liked video games, but by the time I got into high school and graduated from high school and started college, I had been playing video games a lot less, and I just didn't have time for it, between school and everything, and I just didn't get to play them the way that I used to. So aside from beating Portal 2 back in 2012, I hadn't really played any new games in a long time. This game is actually kind of personal to me as a result. In the summer of 2013, my parents announced that they were getting a divorce. And even though I wasn't living with them anymore, it still hit me pretty hard. One of the ways I coped was by playing this game. So, admittedly, I may be a little biased, because to put it plainly, I fucking love this game. Now, as a note, this is also the only Tomb Raider I've ever played. I would like to play the other one sometime, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I played this on the PS3. The controls are easy to use, easy to pick up. I really love the survival instinct mechanic, and the way you utilize your surroundings and different tools to get by, like shooting arrows at walls to distract people, stuff like that. I love the different ways that one could fight, like using your bow to strangle someone and your climbing axe, stuff like that. As a lot of people have noted, there are not very many tombs in this game. Honestly, it didn't bother me that much because I was more interested in the story, but more tombs would have been nice, and I'm hoping that they put more in the sequel. The game was difficult, but not impossible, and I only got stuck in it a few times. Silent killing was my favorite, and I loved climbing and zipping along the ropes. There's a lot of stuff to do, and it's all fun. Pretty damn nice. As with most games, there are some funny glitches now and again. Sometimes Laura's hair did weird things. But overall, the game looked pretty great. The designs for the characters weren't too bogged down with extra details, and they were fairly practical and realistic. The way the island looks in particular was great, from the shanty town to the really creepy catacombs, to the ancient temples. Overall, graphics were good. Good, but there wasn't really anything that stood out to me either. It never got so overwhelming that it bothered me, but there weren't any tracks that I noticed and remembered either. Overall, the music was pretty subdued, which largely worked in the game's favor, as it used sounds from the island to set the atmosphere. The voice acting was all really good, though. Laura in particular was excellent, as was Roth, Sam, and Reyes. Also good. Spoilers ahead. I like how the game turned the player and Laura into a survivor, which isn't to say there aren't criticisms to be had of the whole survival mechanic. I won't get into it too much, but there's this whole thing in survival genres and superhero stories and things like that in particular, where women are shown to have to be made into survivors by experiencing some kind of personal trauma, while guys usually are survivors right off the bat. It's a pretty problematic trope, and unfortunately, it's in a lot of things, this game included. So even though I do like a lot of how we're made to be a survivor, it's still problematic in its own right, and I think it's important to acknowledge that. There are also other problematic things in the game, like this one scene that's really completely unnecessary, where it's implied that this one guy's going to try and rape you before you kill him. It didn't add anything to the story. There was literally no reason for it to be in there. The fact that Laura, throughout much of the game, needs help from Roth in order to do things, like he's the one pushing her to do things, again ties into the whole thing that like women need to be made into survivors, that like she couldn't figure this stuff out on her own, especially since she had been learning survival skills. Like they said that in the game, that she's been learning survival skills for a really long time. So the fact that she needed Roth to kind of push her into doing a lot of stuff just probably wasn't necessary, and I think could have been done differently. However, the fact that a lot of the story was based on Laura's friendship with Sam was really good, and that it avoided the whole violent native tribes trope and instead went for shipwreck victims, which was great and pretty refreshing. And spoilers. It could be creepy, violent, fun, and sad in equal measure. There are some seriously awful ways to die in this game, and I experienced most of them. They are both horrible and funny in equal measure. I like that we're shown that mystical stuff does exist, because it adds an interesting twist to things. That being said, the story itself, while a lot of fun and good, isn't anything remarkable in and of itself. You know, it's people getting shipwrecked on an island and having to survive while the people on the island are trying to kill them. There's been a lot of stories about that kind of thing. So I would say the other aspects of the game are more what make it as good as it is, rather than the story itself. Spoilers ahead. Besides Laura, Roth, and Sam, the other characters are a little one note, but they're still pretty good. Laura I adore, even with the problems with her character. I love that she transforms into someone that screams, "That's right, it's me, run you bastards!" I love that she recognizes in herself a thirst for adventure, and that she knows she's going to keep seeking out mysteries like the one of the Sun Queen. Her relationship with Sam and Roth is great, and all the characters do have their own unique motivations. And yes, before anyone asks in the comments, I do ship Sam and Laura. They are great. All of the characters, even if they are a little one note, do have their own unique motivations, which is nice. Unfortunately, a lot of these characterizations are found in optional journals and the like, so if you don't find them, it can leave the characters a bit wanting. It should also be noted, major spoilers here for the end, that all of the survivors of the game are women and people of color, which is pretty damn cool. And spoilers. The characters are, overall, fairly fleshed out and interesting, and they succeed in making me care about them, which is the most important thing in my opinion. Overall, Tomb Raider 2013 was a great game, and I'm really looking forward to the sequel.